there, YouTube? I'm back again today for another game review. Today I'm very excited to check out Big Money, the game of risky rolls and fabulous fortunes from Wonder Forge. This is for 2 to 5 players, age is 8+. It'll take you, I don't know, about 20 to 30 minutes to play. And in Big Money, this is a dice rolling game where you're going to be collecting zillions of dollars and purchasing businesses. You're going to have a tableau of business in front of you. You're going to be collecting money on those businesses. You're going to be buying stocks and hopefully collecting on those stocks later in the game with the hopes of being the richest person when the bank runs out. It's a light, simple dice rolling game, but is it good? Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think. Alright then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Big Money. So first and foremost, we have a handy dandy rule sheet. It's 2 pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples. Very well done. Should have you up and running in no time at all, so big thumbs up in the rule booklet. So in Big Money, you're going to be building businesses right here in front of you. And there will be a couple different types of businesses. There'll be ones that have tickets to them, there'll be food ones, there'll be technology ones, there'll be travel ones, and there will be sporting ones. And if you have more of the same type of these in front of you, you'll be able to get synergy bonuses, aka industry bonuses, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But you're going to try to collect as much money as everybody else by the time the bank runs out of money. Once the bank runs out of money, you'll total up who has the most zillions of dollars, and they will be the winner of the game. But let's go over the components. Let's get into the gameplay, and all this will make a lot more sense. So first we have our bank up here. It's got 1 zillions, 5 zillions, and 10 zillions. Pretty self-explanatory stuff. Next, you're going to have your buy row out here on the board, and these are going to be cards that you'll be able to purchase. Because at the end of your turn, you are always going to have the option to buy one of these assets down here. And they will either generally have a 5, 10, 15 million or zillion cost, or they will be a stock, which will look something like this. This one you pay $30 zillion up front, but once this symbol gets rolled, you're going to collect 60 zillion stock. $60 zillion. Very, very big boom. You're also going to start with one of these cards right here. They have a special green back on them, and you're going to randomly select one of these. So let's just say I start off and I get the Drone Racing League. So this is going to go out in front of me, and this means whenever anyone rolls that red, the red trophy right there, I'm going to collect $5 zillion. Even if it's not my turn, I'm going to collect that money. The other things that I really want to point out here are the roll payouts, because that's the primary mechanism in the game, and the industry bonuses, which means that if you have more of the same symbol and that symbol comes up, you are going to get bigger bonuses, but I'll show you that later. Last but not least, we have our dice cup right here. It's a really nice slammable dice cup, which I love doing, and you're going to get 6 dice. You're going to get these dice right here, which are your typical D6. They'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on them. And then this dice right here, which will have all the different symbols that we showed you earlier, and also this symbol right here, which means business news. And business news is always bad. Someone is going to be losing money. Potentially a lot of people are going to be losing a lot of money. But let's walk you through a mock turn. I'll show you exactly how it works. So we'll pretend I'm this guy right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll all 6 of the dice up. So the first thing that happens is Owzas. Business news happens. So you're immediately going to draw one of these cards and read it out loud. Roll the industry die. All players discard all assets of that industry. Ouch. So if you had a ticket icon, all players discard all assets of that industry. So right now, the ticket industry, the entertainment industry is completely dead. Like, it's done for. Yeah, these cards are wildly powerful. I'll show you a couple more of them before we continue on with the game. Roll the industry die. The player with the most assets of that industry discards all those assets. All players pay 15 zillion for each sports asset they own. So I would have to pay $15 zillion right now. That one's the same, but for the entertainment. So as you can see, these are really bad cards that are going to really hurt you. But most of the time, what you're going to roll these symbols right here, which means that if anybody had a fork, they would collect money. Now let's take a look at the dice that I rolled. So I got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. It's actually a really good start because I already have a little straight, which means I will collect $12 zillion. Now this has Yahtzee mechanisms where you're going to have three rolls. So I rolled my first time, then I can have 2 re-rolls. So you know what? Let's see if I can get myself a 5. Didn't get a 5. I got a 5. Boom. So I got myself a large straight, which is going to collect me $25 zillion. So I immediately collect that money. That's great. And then I have the opportunity to buy an asset. So I'm looking down here at the assets, and the obvious one just shot me in the face is this pro soccer team over here. Now, while it would be nice to get the Rock Music Festival, because that means I'd get paid on both tickets and I'd get paid on the red, I kind of want to get this one because I would start getting industry bonuses. So how it works is, let's pretend the next player goes. Let's pretend the next guy goes and he rolls that. We're not really focused on the numbers. We're just focused on the fact that he rolled the trophy, which means, hooray, I get paid. So starting, oh, and this immediately gets replenished when anybody buys it. Starting with that player and going around the table, everyone is going to collect the money for their trophies they have. So I would have 5 plus 15. I'd have 20, but since I have 2 assets, I get a $5 zillion bonus. So I would collect $25 zillion, despite the fact it wasn't even my turn. You had this 10 right here, and now we're looking at 30 zillion plus 3, so you'd be looking at 40 zillion. Yeah, this one. Now you got 10, 20, 35, 40. You'd be looking at 55 zillion. So the more of these that you can stack up, the more money you're going to earn. Also, there's the stocks in here, and the stocks are a way to get a lot of money and get it really fast. Well, potentially really fast. So this one, pay 40 zillion, get 80 zillion. Now, these, though, can be somewhat high risk and high reward in certain situations. I've actually seen people, and I've lost one of these myself, because these are assets just like anything else, and if a card tells you to lose an asset, that means, boom, you are out $40 zillion, or potentially $50 zillion, because there's one that's 50 zillion and you get paid $100 zillion. But you're going to continue to do that. Everyone's going to take their turn, roll the dice, then re-roll any of the dice they want to, aside from the symbol die right here, and you're going to rinse, wash, and repeat until the bank completely runs out of money. Once the bank has run out of money, you're going to count who has the most zillions of dollars, and they will be the winner of big money. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game is played. Alrighty then, big money from Wonderforge. What are my final thoughts? Let's go with the pros, let's go with the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. It is an incredibly light, simple game. It is just roll the dice and see what happens. You don't have many choices to make aside from what you want to buy and how you want to do your dice. Do you want to go for 3 of a kind, or do you want to try to go for 2 pair? Those are really the biggest choices that you're going to be making in the game, and most of the time the choices are pretty obvious. There will be sometimes, especially when the bank is running low, where you might be like, I'm not quite sure if I want to do this or I want to do that, but most of the time, the choices you make are relatively straightforward. Now, another con that I have in this game is, God, those business use cards. They are just incredibly, randomly powerful, and they can just single-handedly crush your game in the wrong situation. So let's just say that, like in the example, you've just been synergy. You want to get those industry bonuses. You're trying to get to 7 trophies so that each time you get paid on a trophy, you're collecting $30 million plus all the money that you should be collecting from that. And then that business news card comes up that says, hey, the person that has the most of the trophy symbols loses all their trophy symbols. And you're like, what? Like, your game's over. You're done. Thanks for playing, bro. Good for you. It's just, they are incredibly randomly powerful, and you have to know that going into the game, which will be a turnoff to some people. Yeah, I think my biggest problem with the game is actually those business use cards and just how swingy they can be, because here's the thing. If you somehow manage to get 6 or 7 of those trophy symbols, otherwise, you're probably just going to wreck everybody as long as they don't get it taken away from you, because there's nothing other people can really do to hurt you. There's not player interaction in this game aside from buying something that you think someone else is going to want, because you're not allowed to re-roll the 1 dice with the symbols on it, so it pretty much is almost like a solo game where you're just trying to collect as much money as you can, where the buy row is about the only way you're going to impact other people. Any other cons I have of the game? Not really. You have to know it's incredibly light and simple, and that's about it. But moving on to the pros, I enjoyed big money. I had fun with it. I thought it was good. I'm not the target market for this game, though. Kids, I'd say ages 8 to about 14, 15, 16 are the target market for the game. I brought it into my classroom. We ended up playing this 3 or 4 times. The kids went nuts for this game. Oh, paper money. I don't like the paper money in the game as well, but that's, this is one of the cons. I don't hate the paper money. I feel like it's really nicely designed and it's large and it's not too thin, but I still just don't like paper money in a game. But continue. Oh, and I wish there was a player. I wish that it had a list of the 5 different steps maybe on the board somewhere. You're going to know them after the first couple turns, but it would be nice if it was there nonetheless. But continuing on to the pros, I thought this was a good game. The kids in my class went nuts for this game. They went gaga for this game. I had 2 kids whose birthdays are coming up, and they were like, I want this game. I want this game. I was like, well, it's hopefully going to be at Walmart, so they can pick it up. But they just went crazy for this game, and no rhyme or reason. Like, normally I can tell when I bring a game into the classroom if I think the kids are going to like it a lot. And this one I thought they'd think was good. I didn't think they would think it's great, but they thought it was great. So what did they like? They love the business news cards. They did. They love the wildly swingy nature of it. They love watching other people just crash and burn. Because there's like some that are like, you lose $10 million for every property you have. And if you don't have any money at the time, it's like, ha ha ha, that doesn't impact me at all. But if somebody else does, it's like, you just lost $80 million. And they really enjoyed that aspect. And I've noticed that playing with kids a lot. They really like those wild, crazy, zany, swingy moments in games. And this provides it, while at the same time not being a terrible game that you're not going to want to play as an adult. So for that, I did enjoy it. I also really liked the artwork. Now, another con that I forgot to mention, because I got another one, is the cards are super duper thin. Like, they are very, very thin cards. It's not a huge deal because you're going to buy a card, you're immediately just going to play it in front of you. It's not like you're going to be shuffling them that frequently or holding them in your hands, but still, it would have been nicer if the cards were thicker. But on the cards, I really like the artwork, and the kids really enjoyed the artwork, and they enjoyed talking about what they were building. And it got to the point where a lot of times the kids would be reading what was on the cards to see what they wanted to build, as opposed to just taking the green card because it would help your industry bonuses. They were like, oh man, I really want this one because it's got this super cool thing on it. I was like, okay, whatever. But in the end, yeah, big money. I think it's a good game. The kids I played it with thought it was a great game, so I'm going to meet it in the middle and say I think it's a very good game as long as you're playing it with kids. If you're looking at this as an adult game, I don't know if it's going to go over as well. Well, let me rephrase that. If you play games with adults and you don't typically get together to play many games, like maybe you're the type of group that gets together and plays like Pictionary or something like that, where it's more of the mass market style games, then yeah, I think you could have fun with this game. If you still play games of that ilk, those so-called classic games, the ones that people like to call classics, like Monopoly and Clue and stuff like that, I think this is one that you're going to enjoy and have some fun with. If, however, you've moved on to more of the hobby-style games like Catan or Ticket to Ride or other games of that ilk, I think this one is going to be a little bit too light for you. But there you go. That is big money, one that if you have kids, I think they're really going to enjoy it. But for me personally, is one that I'm probably not going to keep maybe in my classroom. You know what? I might give this one away, honestly. I'm not quite sure. I still haven't thought about it enough. But that's big money from Wonderforge. One that I liked, but I wasn't crazy about. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know, when was the last time you brought a game to the table and had an unexpected reaction? So, I'm looking over here at the games that I recently reviewed and seeing which ones had an unexpected reaction. Oh, I know one. It was actually Poop Happens. That's not the name of the game. It's this party game where it's kind of like timelines, and the fact that you have to rank just terrible things that are going to happen to you. You have to try to guess where the numbers are on the terrible things. So like dying would be 100, stubbing your toe would be a 1, and then you're trying to put the cards in order in front of you. And I thought it was a lot more fun, but I played it with a group of my friends at a get-together, and they were not that hot on it. And I was like, wow, this kind of bombed a little bit. Now that being said, I brought it to another group of friends, and they really liked it, so who knows. But what was the last time you brought a game to the table and it didn't go over quite how you expected? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.